kick off this hour in the Northwest, where joint parliamentary portfolio committees have been engaging with the Klerksdorp community on issues of illegal mining and crime in general. Our reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli has been listening to those engagements and joins me now live with a breakdown of what has come out so far. Tumaole, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Now, we know that illegal mining costs South Africa 7 billion rands annually. What has been the cost or the impact on the people of Klerksdorp?
Well, the cost and the impact on the people of Klerksdorp has really been a degradation and, of course, the lowering of standards in terms of the quality of life of residents. We are told some harrowing stories of the Zamazama turf wars spilling over into ordinary people's lives. The Zamazamas are brazen, kick down doors, pillage, rape, loot, and effectively take over people's homes with no fear of retribution. This, according to residents, is because they have the police in their pockets. And, of course, they say that they are ruthless. And it's not as if the Zamazamas are one unified organization of criminal intent. They have their own quarrels amongst themselves with the various Basotho gangs of the Zamazamas. Quite ironic that Basotho gangs have a Zulu name for their moniker as Zamazamas. So this is some of the madness, if one will, that is dominating that particular criminality. To get more on this, of course, I am joined by Ntate Saniboy Khositsile Mudiakhotla, who is with the Portfolio Committee. Ntate Mudiakhotla, you painted a very grim picture of collusion by both law enforcement as well as the mine bosses themselves. It seems it's a win-win for the Zamazamas.
Yes, it's a win-win for the Zamazamas, as we, the community, are now living in fear of now being shot at any given time, because when these guys are fighting, nobody will survive from this fight, because they even went as far as fight in the township. They fight for a territory. And now, when they fight for territory, it's now where the community now is suffering. And out of that, the support that we had to get from SAPS and the support that we had to get from the other sister departments of the government of SAPS, they are not helping us as such, because some of them are colluding with these Zamazamas. I'm talking about the Home Affairs, the mine managers, and even the mine workers themselves. They are colluding with these people.
This is one of the questions that many have been asking when you look at the caliber of firepower that these Zamazamas, seemingly pirate miners who spend weeks underground trying to raise some kind of capital and get resources. But when they come out and they fight in the communities, they actually are more armed than the police officers in many cases, and these are state-issued firearms. What can be done to arrest this collusion and corruption?
I think for the arrest of this thing is when the borders can be maintained and laws or patrols can be tightened from the borders. Moreover, Zimbabwean and Lesotho borders. Those are the borders that are giving us a serious challenge. And some of these weapons, like we had, are from the defense force of those countries. And some members are members, as it is alleged, are members of the defense force of those countries. And they are really armed with high caliber firearms. And now, our problem in this country is that now we will find that SAPS doesn't have those calibers firearms in their police station for them to protect them and the community.
Tell us about the human face, and I'm sure it's a face with lots of tears and scars, where they come in and effectively take over family homes with no remorse, and what they put these communities through?
It is a two-way situation, because on the issue of the family or the community, in some instances, we the community are to be blamed, because we are the people that are giving these people a refugee or the place to hide. And then there are those families that you find that they are now living in fear, whereby you find that families are broken, whereby these Zamazamas or these boys of Zamazamas, when they arrive, they show a lot of money to the women of this country or those girls, and then they leave their husbands for these people because they are also in need of money. That is something that we can say it's a poverty. Yes.
All right, now thank you. We'll be touching base with you again very, very soon for more on that. More harrowing details, one would have to say. And that was Sunny Boy Khositlile Mudiahotla, just a community member who's just briefed Parliament's committee there about some of the social dynamics. Of course, the monetary impact, the negative monetary impact of the live fast, die young mentality of many of these Zamazamas, the fact that they're in collusion with law enforcement agencies, in this case the SAPS, which is supposed to be, of course, a deterrent to their operations, as well as the mine bosses themselves, who cry wolf and cry foul whenever there is violence on their property. So it is really painting a grim picture about the situation, something that government has been trying to arrest for the last couple of years, one might say. Of course, they've entered into partnerships now with the mining operators as well as communities, as was illustrated earlier this year in ongoing operations by the SAPS and the Department of Justice and various stakeholders. Minister Begigele was leading one of those operations at Ground Zero in a mine not far from here. And certainly one saw for himself just how brazen these Zamazamas are. You might look at them and think that they're not much to look at, but the kind of caliber of firepower that at their disposal is something that these communities have been struggling with. So the committee will continue with its work, and we are expecting to hear even more harrowing details and more criticism about the collapse of the law enforcement and one might even say justice cluster or sector in the country, as we try to find a lasting solution to both illegal mining and its negative impact. With that, it's back to you in the studio.
Very startling allegations coming out of that conversation. Thank you for that update, Tumaole. We'll continue to catch up with you a little later on as the day proceeds.